Do you ever have the feeling of when you play video game, you feel like you are doing something wrong or like you shouldn't really be playing the video game and you should be out there doing something else? And in the past like few years, I've been getting this like feeling of when I'm playing video games, I'm doing something wrong. And it's been going on for a while. And now I didn't really know at the start what it was or why am I feeling that. And I really stopped enjoying playing video games, but I kept doing it because I was kind of addicted to it and I didn't really enjoy it. So it was two things. Like one, I felt like I was doing something wrong, but at the same time, I was feeling like, okay, why am I not enjoying the games? Like I'm playing games to have fun, but I'm not enjoying it. So I even felt worse. And it took me a lot of time to realize what it was and why I was feeling that way. Why when I was playing, I felt like I was doing something wrong, or why I was just not enjoying myself like I used to. And it took a lot of steps to realize it. So in the start, I actually thought I was just burnt out. I played like the same video game all the time and it was just boring. So I got new games, but maybe at the start it was a bit fun, but I just kept feeling again and not enjoying it. And then I thought maybe I should take a break from video games. So I did that for a while. But when I got back, I still got the same feeling that I was doing something wrong and I'm not really enjoying myself. So I was kind of thinking and trying new things and trying to see what it was and like watching videos to figure out like why I'm not enjoying playing video games and why I'm feeling this feeling. And I couldn't really get an answer until I stopped playing video games for a really long time. And I really couldn't find the answer into why like I'm not enjoying this game and also I'm feeling that I'm doing something wrong when this is like I'm taking my break and I'm just chilling and I'm just playing and I just want to have fun for like an hour or two. And then if you watch my videos, I had like a big period where I tried to find out to like what I want to do in life. And at the time, I didn't really play video games for those like 6 months, and I kind of started doing like hobbies that I really wanted to do. So things that I wanted to do for years. So if it was like martial arts, if it was playing the guitar, learning a new language, just a bunch of stuff that I wanted to really do, but I just didn't do them for years. And then when I actually started to do them, I kind of felt the same kind of like satisfaction or like the fun that I was getting from the actual video games. Now, at the start, when I was transitioning into those like hobbies, less video games, more hobbies, it was really hard, and I didn't really find enjoyment when I was doing them because like your brain is fried from those video games and all the dopamine and everything. So when you do things that are like real life or are like like less fun, they just feel actually like less fun. But it's not because they are not fun, it's just because of excess dopamine that you've been having for a very long time. And in that 6 month period where I had to kind of sit and realize what I wanted to do, and at the same time I started going and doing those hobbies because I had to. Like, let's say if I didn't really have to do those hobbies, or what happened to me in the past when I did try to do my hobbies, is that I always went back to video games because it was boring and I didn't give it enough time and I didn't give enough time for my dopamine to go down. So pretty much after a while of me doing my hobbies, I kind of realized a few things that I wanted to share with you guys, or maybe help you guys as well. Especially if you had things that you really wanted to do for a very long time, or you had an excuses to why you are not doing it, or you've always been thinking that you want to do this thing. Like for me, for example, I wanted to do martial art for a very long time. I did it when I was young and I stopped for a very long time. And I also, I don't want to say I have like talent, but I always had like a kind of a thing with like martial arts. It was kind of easy for me to do. But in case you don't have this thing that we were thinking about for years, or you wanted to do for a very long time, or you did it when you were young and you don't even know like what your hobbies are, I'll tell you what to do next. If you already know, just skip a few minutes ahead and then I'll tell you what you need to do. So first, if you don't know what your hobbies are or what you like to do, first of all, you really just need to take a time off the video game. You can start by just 30 minutes off. You kind of want to see what things interest you. So I'm sure you know what you like to do, but you don't really realize it, maybe because you didn't start. But pretty much everything you are interested in, like let's say, I don't know, you watch TikTok or Instagram and you watch motorcycle videos, or let's say, I don't know, you watch people sing or play instruments, or you love to see people do like martial arts, or anything that kind of interests you, I don't know, like photography, whatever, that can be your hobby pretty much. So just in case you don't know what interests you, you just need to sit with yourself for a while and kind of try to see what interests you, and then just try those things. Maybe there are things that you like to only watch but not do yourself. So that's why I'm saying, like, after you find a few things that you're interested in and you wrote them down, you want to try them out, test them out, and then with that you're gonna actually like find out what you would like to do and like what your hobbies are. Now, when you already know what you want to do or what you like, but it's hard for you to transition from the video games to the hobbies, I'll give you like a few action steps that you can actually do. So first, it really depends on what you want to do. So I'm just gonna give you like an example, and then for yourself, you're gonna have to think how to do it. But for example, if you just can do something that is from home, I don't know, like playing an instrument, just need to give yourself a time that you're gonna sit and you're gonna do it no matter what. Even if you sit and you don't actually do it, but you are like in with yourself, I'm like, okay, this is boring, I don't want to do this, blah, 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 blah. You just want to sit with yourself and just give the time, that 30 minutes. And you want to do it every day or like few times a week. You need to find like how you can make it consistent, because some people might need like are really addicted to video games. So maybe you need to start with like once a week. Maybe some people can do it every day, 30 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. You really need to find like your own time and how you can manage it. But you really want to give yourself at least like bare minimum once or twice a week where you sit and you just do this thing, or you sit with yourself and give your time off the video game. And increase the time or the how many times you do it a week gradually. So every time you are able to manage it and it's easier, you just want to do more time or you want to do it more often, and that way you can transition to your hobbies. And now before I give you the action steps, I really want to tell you why video games actually keep you away from your two hobbies, and there are a few reasons for it. Some of them you might already know, some of them you might don't. So video games are just like our life but on extreme. So everything is on extreme. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Let's say like movies. When you watch movies, the movies that you like, the reason why you like them is because everything is an extreme. And I'm not just talking about like if you're watching Marvel, for example, and you have heroes and you have people with like superpowers and stuff like that. Or I don't know, if you watch like sci-fi movies with like aliens and stuff. What I'm talking about is just even like the normal movies that you watch that don't have this like crazy unrealistic magic power stuff. They all have characters that are on extreme. You have one character who is really angry or is really happy or is really depressed. You always have an extreme, because if you don't have an extreme, you're not gonna be entertained, and just because you are just gonna watch like somebody life in real life. So like 90% of the movies have some kind of extreme about them, and that's why we're entertained by them. And it's the same for video games as well. Everything is on an extreme level, and that's why it's so fun. Just an escape from the real life. If you play MMOs, for example, the fantasy worlds and everything, it's really an extreme version of the real life. And that's why like we really play it and kind of enjoy it and gonna get addicted to it. And when we get out of video games and we do things that are like real life, like playing instruments or anything like that, it becomes like really boring. Like everything you do outside of video games is really boring. One, because of the extreme, and two, because that extreme happen, you get a lot of dopamine, which set your standard dopamine really high. So only like extreme stuff can make you happy. And the reason why we feel so bad for playing video games, even if it's an extreme and we're supposed to be entertained by it, right? So the baseline gets so high that you're not enjoying even the video games anymore, and then everything else is not even enjoyable. So you kind of stuck in this loop of, okay, you did it for years, your baseline is so high, now you're not enjoying anything else. And that's the problem with an extreme. When you get so much of it, and at the end the baseline is so high that even the extreme doesn't satisfy you and you're not enjoying it. And when we do real life stuff, so you do any like real life hobbies, the baseline doesn't go as high as the extreme like video games. So what happens is it's always stays at the level when it doesn't matter how much you do the real life things, it will always be enjoyable. You will never feel like you're doing something wrong or like you're wasting your time. You'll always enjoy it, always. So now I'll give you a few action steps that you can actually take to transition to the hobbies. And so pretty much with time, when you start transition into those hobbies, you need to really be careful that you are not playing video games and you are not consuming any extremes. Like you wanna slowly and gradually do the boring stuff like your real life hobbies and not play as much video games or do anything that is an extreme. And pretty much with time, when you almost like 100% doing your hobbies and you're not playing video games, what you want to do now is be careful that when you do play video game or you do watch any movie or do anything that is an extreme and like blows up your dopamine, what happens is you can really get addicted to it suddenly. Because when your baseline gets so low and then you go to an extreme again, it can get so high and it can kinda ruin everything. But don't feel bad if it happens and you kinda like relapse, because you're making progress and you're realizing things that you didn't realize before. So it will be harder for you with time to get addicted again to video games. When you will play video games, it will be easier for you to be disciplined and not play for hours on end or like stay up late, because you have realized a lot of things and you know things now. So it's easier for you to stay away from it and know when to say no and when to stop. So don't feel bad if it happens to you, but do be careful that you can relapse and you can get addicted to it, because because when the baseline is low, you'll get addicted to it. It's just when if you were young and you started playing video games and you thought that it was the best thing in the world and you played like on hours on end, days, years, it was because you didn't know that this thing existed. You didn't know this extreme existed. So just be careful and find your two hobbies, and when you found them, you can go in here in the comments and write them, and feel free to leave in the comments like what you find out was your two hobby and if it actually helped you, or if you need any new action steps that I can actually give you, and if you have any other struggles that I didn't cover in this video, just write it in the comments. I see all the comments and I'll just write you an answer and help you out. So find your two hobbies.